The biblical story of Noah's Ark is one of the most captivating and dramatic stories ever told. It is also one of the most contentious stories found in the Bible. For some, the biblical flood is sacrosanct and absolute historic fact. For others, the story is a myth derived from more ancient Mesopotamian flood stories. It has inspired many expeditions and would-be explorers. Every so often, there is even news that someone has found the legendary ship. Has Noah's Ark really been found? Or maybe it is better asked, could Noah's Ark ever be found in modern times? Before I continue, this video is not exploring the historicity of the flood narrative. I do, however, feel it necessary to point out that many of the claims made regarding the finding of the Ark do not stand up to scrutiny. This video sets the bar for what would be needed to scientifically justify a find as authentic. Let's start with motive. Setting out to find a specific object is not necessarily a bad thing. The problem is when it becomes the sole objective of the quest. Any other finds that could be important in their own right are marginalized or disregarded. This occurred often in the early days of archaeology. For example, a fragment of a victory stele from Shoshank, possibly a candidate for the biblical Shishak, was found in a debris pile in Megiddo, Israel. Had this fragment been identified when it was found, it could have rewritten history. Motive is furthermore suspect when you realize just about everyone who launched an expedition to find Noah's Ark has found it. Striking pay dirt rarely happens on a proper archaeological expedition. Setting out to prove an agenda can blind one from other possibilities as to what a found object could be. Second, nearly every search in modern times has occurred on Mount Mesis, the presumed Mount Ararat of the biblical flood story, which is situated in the modern political borders of Turkey. The problem with this identification is that, according to the majority of scholars, this association only dates from the 11th to 12th centuries of the Common Era, when it was most likely developed by the Crusaders. Until this time, the locals did not associate Mount Ararat with the area of Mount Mesis. Furthermore, the vast majority of ancient sources put biblical Mount Ararat on an entirely different mountain. Check out my video on that, linked below in the description. Lastly, even if we give these expeditions the benefit of the doubt, who says that the wood and other objects are from Noah's Ark are really coming from Noah's Ark? Could it be that nobody else used wood in that area since the landing of the Ark? Maybe what has been found is not even wood at all. This was indeed the case with Ron Wyatt's Ark, reported at the Durupınar site in Turkey. The link to the geological study that bunks his theory is in the description. It is highly unlikely to ever find the Ark from an archaeological perspective. If it would ever be found, it would most certainly be an accident. For one thing, proper researchers would never try to search for it. Wood that old cannot survive for that long in such a harsh environment. The beams of the Ark would need to have been petrified or preserved by some other fluke of nature. As Eric H. Cline in his book From Eden to Exile explains, the most that we could hope for, something like the Sutton Hoo ship in England from the 7th century CE. The disintegrated wood and corroded nails from this vessel left a perfect imprint on the damp soil. He goes on to posit that the Ark could possibly have been preserved had it been in an arid climate like Egypt, or had sunk in water with a low oxygen content like that which is found in the Black Sea. Cline is of the opinion that it would be a very long shot to expect to find a boat like the Ark preserved in a glacier, but doesn't completely rule it out. All of the above said does not exclude the fact that there was a site venerated in antiquity as the landing site of the Ark that was even purported to have a wooden structure on it. Check out the link to that video in the description, and if you got benefit out of this, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.